Oh, hey there. This is Rob Robbie. Before I begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Well, before I begin, like and subscribe. You can share at your leisure. All right, so this is my review of Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet. I think they went out of the way to say why it's not Wreck the Internet, so I don't need to get into that. I apologize for the video quality. I am just using my camera on my computer, so it's not going to be as great. Also, sorry it's been a while. Anyway, please excuse the mess. I use my home as a recording studio, amongst other things. It's also a cat play studio. Anyway, so I'm going to get into this review of this movie. As you can tell by the title, I feel a certain type of way about this movie, or as people say now, I am in my feelings about this movie. I want to say that the first part of the movie is it comes off. I don't want to say flawlessly, but it's a good movie. Given the first half, it's pretty good. All right, so we're taken into the world of Wreck-It Ralph, where we left off from the last movie, which is them. They kind of go into this circuit breaker box where they can go into any game. But unlike the feelings of happiness in the first movie, this one, the feelings of repetition, that your life is on a loop, kind of ring out in this, and Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet. I think what's weird about this when they do movies like this, because obviously this movie is speaking to the audience in a very direct way, which is why, as I get into the later part of the review, I'll tell you why it's propaganda. But going into the earlier part of this review, it's just me examining some of the elements that I think work for the film, but some of the elements that I think make these new type of animations a bit dark and morose. And they're speaking to the viewer, and they're trying to tell us that don't live your life on repeat. Go out there and explore. And it's kind of like the things that make us depressed and make us happy, right? So before Facebook, before Instagram, before all these things, people were social. They had social groups. They never felt alone. Everything was a village. And so this movie is kind of trying to do the same thing as what everything else is telling us. Get out there, explore the world, because people are starting to feel like their groups are dissipating because of that. But at the same time, the message that they're preaching is the same message as the Instagram message, which is go out there, explore, which is perfectly fine. But I feel like while they tell us to go explore and almost downgrades the things that we all have to go through, which is repetition. And when we go on Instagram and we see people doing amazing things and we don't know that they're going into debt, like tons of debt to travel, and they're like, oh, I'm just living my life, living my best life. Oh, I'm just going out there and being adventurous. And it's going into those themes. And I think sometimes that tends to play negatively towards the people who are like stacking their paper and working a 9 to 5. And that's, I think, where that Instagram depression comes from, where you see things that everyone else is living this great life when in actuality, you were being the responsible one. So the first part of the movie is definitely that. It's the repetition of life. And it's Ralph being happy. He's the small town person and who's happy, just working on a farm or whatever, what have you. And what's her name? Vanellope. I never knew her name from the first movie. It's really funny. And so I thought they were saying Penelope for the whole time, but it was Vanellope. So Vanellope is the person who wants to see the world, wants bigger and better things, and she's feeling incomplete. And so, by the way, I'm not going to give any spoilers. This is just a general setting of the story. Well, you know what? I will go into spoilers because in order to get into like where the propaganda is, I'm going to have to spoil some things. So I'll try to give you a warning before I spoil anything. But so the story is them going off into the internet to try to fix some things, some problems that Ralph has caused. And through exploring, they are discovering parts of themselves that they didn't know. So with Ralph, this is kind of a spoiler. He is discovering like the attributes about himself that make him still negative. With Vanellope, she's discovering things about herself that are incomplete, right? Because she's searching to find a deeper meaning in life and a deeper part of herself. If you think about it, it's very meta, but it's also, if you think about it, it's meta. That's kind of, maybe it's a redundancy, but there's also this thing about it which is depressing and like surreal, because it's like with any Disney movie, well, not any of them, but the ones coming out, it's like your feelings have feelings, your video games have feelings, your toys have feelings. That's like, yo, this is a weird world. Like, I was just imagining everything, and they make these worlds so real that you're like, man, everything has feelings. They're gonna make a book story, and like, I haven't been read in a while. I have feelings too, which is super strange. But anyway, let me not get off track because I'm very tired and it is very, very late. So I'm gonna keep pushing right along. So the story is Vanellope is trying to find her place in the world, unbeknownst to herself, and so she goes inside this video game. And this is a spoiler. She goes inside this video game, and in this video game, she gets to race, and she feels like by racing, she has found her calling or the place that makes her the happiest. Now, where I call this movie propaganda is it plays into a lot of the social messages that are being preached right now. And the difference between messages being preached when I was younger and messages being preached now is that messages are in everything. Right? Whoever controls the media controls the message. So I watch shows like The Flash, shows like Titans, shows like Haunting a Hill House, everything I'm watching, and they're common themes, right? Because we've had, in no short order, we've had people acting crazy in the States and around the world, and we say, what's the main issue? Mental health. So now all of the shows are beating us upside the head with mental health issues. If you want somebody to act a certain way and you subtly put something in there, that's one thing. But if you put it into everything, whether subtly or directly, that just becomes propaganda. And when it's the same people doing it, they are promoting propaganda, putting out propaganda, and trying to get you to think a certain way, which is what I do not like. Now, if someone subtly hinted at it once, you know, maybe Ralph, spoiler alert, from here on out, I'm just going to spoil it because I think we need to get into these issues and unpack them a little bit. So when we think about Ralph, we think about the fact that they are saying that he has attachment issues. He has attachment issues and he's controlling. And a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, they say this when they get into the Disney princess part, he is a controlling man. And this is like a message that's going on right now that men are controlling. He's this big, strong man that is controlling this girl or woman. And they keep hitting you upside the head. Is he a man that thinks that he needs to save the day? Do they think men have to save the day? And a lot of the time, the one thing they take away from Ralph, which I think Ralph is an empty character in this one, the real protagonist of this is Vanellope, because Ralph, he literally doesn't use his strength much. He doesn't do anything in many of the scenes. He's just kind of there and stupid. And they're telling you that men try to be overpowering. And the second message is mental health. And it's okay to say it's okay to say that as a man, you have to watch certain aspects of yourself so that you don't have this dominating presence over anyone that you feel is weaker than you, right? Because everyone has their own strengths. Everyone has their own weaknesses. So as a man, you can't feel like you can dominate everything. If you say that subtly, I can understand that. But the way they kind of hit you on the head with that, it's like, are these movies even meant to be an escape from reality? Or are they just message movies where people are trying to, through propaganda, get you to think exactly the way they want you to think? So the second message is mental health. And so they're calling Wreck-It Ralph controlling. They're like, you're controlling. She is not yours to control. You can't tell her what to do. Her life isn't your life. And you have to learn to let go. And so his insecurities end up being the thing that breaks the internet, his need for her. When in actuality, it's a story of love and an unwillingness to let go, but they change it and they make it darker. And they make it darker in a sense because they want to promote this propaganda and hit you on the head with it over and over and over again, that this man is unstable and that he is willing to ruin everything just so this woman will do what he wants her to do. I think it went completely like off the regular Disney message. Disney messages used to be like real subtle. And we're talking about what do we call it? The golden age of Disney, where it was like Little Mermaid to what was it? The last one was 99. Forgot what the last one was, but we had this golden age of Disney, and so people were upset because they felt like the women were weak in this, and that the men were always saving the day, which I disagree with. In some of them I do agree with it, but they've gone off of a message of positivity where it's just like you can live a better life if you just do this or if you stick to it. And they've gone to this darker message and this propagandized message of think this way, it is the right way to think. Do this thing this way, it is the right way to do it, which is not appropriate for a Disney movie. So I think that Wreck-It Ralph, the first part works, but the second part is almost entirely propaganda, and it feels like another film. I felt like the movie was about to be over when they got the money, and I look at my watch, and I'm like, okay, I've been in this theater for a while, but then they start going with this virus storyline, and I'm like, wait, there's still more movie to go? And I started feeling tired, and I'm just like, why am I sitting through this movie? Because at first, what was enjoyable, even though there is a lot of marketing, right? It's like hits you in the face with Amazon, hits you in the face with all this online shopping and ads and all this other stuff. They're just like hitting you in the face. This is Facebook. This is YouTube. This is just different things. It's almost feels like the companies paid them to put their advertisements in this movie. So this movie is just, it's like Las Vegas. It's like a sensory overload. But, excuse me, I was willing to do that for the first, I don't know, half of the movie to like 65% of the movie. But the tail end of the movie, the last half of the second act, going into that's half of the movie. The last third of the second act, going into the third act, I think that it was problematic. But you guys definitely go see the movie and tell me what you think. Leave a comment below if you disagree with me. I'm more than happy to go back and forth with you. So let me know. Do you think it's propaganda or do you not think it's propaganda? Do you think it's right that Disney has an opinion about mental health and they're telling you what it is and forcing you to, not forcing you, but just beating it into your head? Or do you think that those type of points of view should be left out of movies and be up to the parents to discuss with their kids, or for up to news and things like that to discuss those kind of issues? Anyway, tune in next time. This is Robbie, and I am out. Peace.